Good evening. Welcome to the City of Sugar Land City Council for Tuesday, November the 19th. A little bit about our agenda tonight. In a minute, Council Member Jennifer Lane is going to come down and we're going to do the invocation. That'll be followed by special guests to do the Pledge of Allegiance to the nation's flag and the Texas flag. And then we got a really special recognition tonight, and I'll introduce those guests in a minute. So right now, Jennifer, if you'd come down and give us the invocation.
Please stand and pray with me. God, we're so grateful for the staff of the City of Sugar Land. We ask that you cast out a shield of protection over them, wrap your arms around these men and women to show them love, grace, strength, and encouragement. We are so grateful to be living in a community where many play a part in making sure the needs and desires of our citizens are heard and met. As the Sugar Land City Council members work together to find solutions to difficult problems, we ask that you guide us to speak respectfully and with humility to one another as we advocate for our constituents and others. We humbly ask you for these blessings. Amen.
Amen. And now I'm going to invite some special guests to do the pledge. I'd ask Sarayu Vanam, Kishan Patel, Ayan Syed, Anisa Ayala Varapu, Ria Natarajan, Sid Natarajan, Eshwara Krishna, Eknish Mohit, Rajana Priya Ayala Varapu, Hema Natarajan, Zara Mehdi, Sanjojita Mohit, and Prayful Mohit. If you would all come down, please. Did I miss anybody? Okay. Who'd like to do the honors? Together? Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Have everybody around the mic here. Do the pledge to the nation's flag first. Let me start. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Perfect. And now if we could get, maybe easier to let the council members stay up top, kind of pull together. We can move you guys a little bit around this way. Get you centered. Jennifer, Meredith, Linda. Let's get a picture. Microphone there. Yes, ma'am. It's going to be fun. We've got a special recognition tonight. This is in honor of the Magana family and the patriarch who happens to be here with us tonight. And I'm going to ask them to come down, and then we'll do the recognition. So I'm going to ask the patriarch, Sam Magana. Sam, if you come down. I call him Sammy. Roland Magana. Wallace Magana. Ricky, I don't think is here. I haven't seen Ricky. Daughters Melinda Fry, Sharon McCurdy, and Barbara Magana Robertson. And then Sammy Jr. and Sandra Davis were not able to join us tonight. So, and Barbara, I'm going to introduce it for you in a minute, but I just want to give a little bit of a background. So, Sammy, you've lived on the Frost Ranch for 71 years. 71 years. I'll tell you how old he is. He went to work for Mr. Frost when he was 14. He didn't quite tell the truth. He was supposed to be 16, but he was 14. I think Mr. Frost did find out, is what you're telling me. He did find out, and Sammy still lives on that part of the Frost Ranch in the original house where he raised his 8 kids. So they were honored this year as special family in 2024 for the Fort Bend County Fair, and we thought, because at that time it was Sugar Land, it was only appropriate that we recognize them. Bill, you need to be down here too. Bill Robertson, Barbara's husband. So, Barbara, I think you're going to introduce it for us, and then I'll do the proclamation.
I'm sorry, what did you want me to do, sir?
Oh, just introduce it, and then I'll do it.
Oh, okay. We are so honored as a family to be able to be the fair honorees for the Fort Bend County Fair. We've been absolutely longtime participants, not only competitors in the rodeo, the livestock arena, but we've also been supporters through our Exceptional Rodeo Committee, where we always help kids with special needs participate in rodeo events. But the real honor here is people like Joe Zimmerman, our mayor. He has provided this avenue, been a friend and supporter to the Fort Bend County Fair, and my father, who is 85 years old, and he has been, he's a Hall of Fame cowboy in the Texas Rodeo Cowboy Hall of Fame. We could not be more proud. But I look around, I see Jennifer Lane. She's been a huge supporter of the Fort Bend County Fair. As a group, I know most of this council has participated in purchasing a goat, and that goat Fred is still around. And then you look at city manager, Michael Goodrum. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to say it. He's won money for baking through a 4-H project. So, but now he's in charge of the city of Sugar Land. So I would be remiss not to mention Bobby Ponsick. Bobby, if you could join our family. He's our president this year, just newly elected, and I just found out for 2025, Bobby Ponsick. We're all Dulles High School graduates here in Sugar Land, and hats off to everyone, because Sugar Land's a great place to live, work, and play.
Thanks, Barbara. Sammy, I'm going to get y'all to move around so you get in the center. Bill. There we go. Now we're talking. And we've got a proclamation for your family. Fort Bend County Fair 2024 honorees, the Magana family. Whereas the Magana family, led by Patriarch Sam Magana, has supported the Fort Bend County Fair and rodeo for decades, contributing as life members, participants, and volunteers. And whereas the family has played a vital role in the Exceptional Rodeo, a transformative event for children with intellectual and physical disabilities, marking 11 years of dedicated service. And whereas through their involvement in rodeo competitions, livestock competitions, and community service, the Magana family has exemplified the values of hard work, family, and community spirit. And whereas the Fort Bend County Fair Association proudly recognizes the Magana family as the 2024 Fort Bend County Fair and Rodeo honorees, a well-deserved accolade for their decades-long dedication, volunteerism, and exceptional contributions to our community. And Sammy, thank you very much, and for you and your family.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And if we get council to stand. We're going to move on now to item number 2, public comment. We have several guests with us tonight. Our first guest is Caleb Kirkpatrick. Caleb, you're able to speak on any of the direct action items on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Caleb Kirkpatrick, and I will be speaking on Agenda Item 4A. Agenda Item 4A is consideration of an action on authorization of a license agreement with the Fort Bend Mountain Bike Association for the use, enhancement, and development of the city's single-track mountain bike trails. I put my full support behind this decision. I do not have a car or a license as of this moment. What I do have is a bike, and when I need to get some alone time, I take a bike ride through Oyster Creek Trail. Before 2019, when this contract was initially signed, off-road cyclists started to develop trails independently from the city. This shows an immense demand for nature bike trails. In 2019, cyclists formed a recognized and organized group called the Fort Bend County Mountain Bike Association. The association's partnership with the city has been extremely beneficial to all parties. They maintain existing trails, and if this item passes, they can begin to develop the Brazos River West End Trail. Mountain bikers are enthusiasts. They care deeply about their hobbies. You can see this through their continued volunteer efforts with the city. In 2024 alone, the association put over 2,000 volunteer hours with the city. In February, they made repairs to the trails along the Brazos when the river rose. In June, they assisted with the Velo Solution Pump Track World Qualifying Race, and after Hurricane Beryl, they assisted with the cleanup. And every week, they do maintenance checkups and they do weekly checkups and maintenance on the trails. Sugar Land's biggest strength is its amenities. The city has always been ahead of the game on providing services to their communities. By making this agreement in 2019, you showed a dedication to your citizens' wants and needs. While other cities would put up fences on the independently made trails for public safety, Sugar Land shows they're trailblazers and finds a way for everybody who is passionate about the situation to be happy. By accepting this deal, you free up the Parks Department so they don't have to worry about the bike trails. In 2018, the year before this contract went into effect, the Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Master Plan identified nature/natural surface trails as a high priority. Over the course of the past 5 years, the association has handled those trails for the Parks Department. According to the contract, and if existing or future trail is deemed unsafe, the city may close it down and until the association returns it to a satisfactory and usable condition. This is a group of highly driven people who wish to make their hobby as accessible and safe to as many people as possible. They have made a noticeable difference and felt improvement in their community, and I can personally attest to this. Thank you for everything, and I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you, Caleb. Please, if we'd, no clapping, please. Our second guest is Diana Vargas Lee. Diana, if you'd like to speak on item number 4A.
Well, I couldn't say it any better, so thank you. So on behalf of 400 of our members and thousands of people that ride our trails every weekend, thank you to the City of Sugar Land for item number 4, which will hopefully get approved tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think we've got some guests out there. I see some people that look like a bunch of mountain bikers, so welcome to council. Our next guest is Sugar Khan, and they would like to speak on item number 3C.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. I'd like to address a difficult but important intersection: the relationship between water quality in Sugar Land, Texas, and issues of racial inequality. While this may seem like an unlikely connection at first, It's essential to recognize that access to clean, safe water is not a neutral issue. It is often deeply tied to race, class, and historical inequality.
Ma'am, I'm sorry. Race has nothing to do with this agenda item.
It does. It's
No,
about
ma'am, it does not.
I'm for the item, and I'm explaining why.
No, ma'am. Well, you confine your comments to the actual agenda item. Let me read it for you so that you understand what it is.
I understand.
Consideration, let me finish. Consideration action on authorization of a contract with Hawk Company in the amount of $153,311 for the purchase of water testing supplies and reagents. This contract will automatically renew for 4 additional one-year terms for a total amount of $776,555. It has nothing to do with race. Confine your
I'm
comments.
explaining why it does have something to do
No,
with
ma'am.
race.
We're not.
And I'm for the item.
It doesn't make any difference
I've
whether you.
always stayed on topic, so
I'm going
please
to
let
give you
me
the
finish.
first. I'm going to give you a first warning.
I have always stayed
I'm going to
on
give you
topic.
a second warning, and I'm going to ask you to step away from the podium, please.
Can I finish?
If you can find your comments to exactly what I read. If you get into anything on race or anything else, you're going to be excused.
I'm explaining why
No, ma'am.
I'm for this item
That's-
because of environmental racism. So I'm
There
for
is no
this item.
environmental racism as this particular item. I'm sorry. I'm not going to allow that comment. Step away from the podium,
Why?
please.
Why
Step
will
away.
you not? I'm speaking on topic. I have never once spoken off topic.
Ma'am, you've received
Always
2
your rules.
warnings. You're disrupting a public meeting.
Always follow-
Please step away and leave the meeting.
We're going to move on now to item number 3. We don't have anybody for additional comments. Item number, please keep the comments in the back to a minimum. We'll excuse you. I'm going to pull items D, E, F, G, H, and I. We'll take those afterwards. I'm going to call for council action on A, B, C, and J.
Motion approved.
Got a motion by Councilmember Jacobson, second by Councilmember McCutcheon. You'll vote at this time, please.
Sounds like white supremacy in here.
If you'd please escort the officers, you please escort her out.
Okay, white supremacist KKK clan. Free Palestine!
Go ahead and take the rest.
Free Palestine! Stop funding the Holocaust and
Ma'am, you are disrupting a public meeting. You will be arrested if you continue to do so.
We're going to now move to item number 3D. Consideration of an action on the appointment of Krista Stegemiller, member, Sarah Calabrosi, member, Amy Sewell, member, for terms expiring September 30th, 2027. Appointment of Lauren Bowen, alternate, Mark Martinez, alternate to unexpired terms ending September 30th, 2025. Promotion of Doug Earl, alternate to member, an unexpired term ending September 30th, 2025. And the appointment of Krista Stegemiller as the chair to the Independent Ethics Review Board. I'll make the motion. Do I have a second? Got a second by Watley. If you'll vote at this time, please. And vote. And it passes unanimously. We've got one councilmember absent, so a 6-0 vote. Item number 8, consideration of an action on the appointment of Kurt Kirchhoff, Steve Bazekny, and Mary Ryder for terms expiring September 30th, 2026 to the Sugar Land 4B Corporation Board of Directors. I've got the motion. Do I have a second? Got a second by McCutcheon. Hand vote, please. In favor, say aye. 6-0. Thank you, council members.
Not easy to make a decision. Why are you still
Go ahead and excuse
You're
it.
disrupting a public meeting.
us
One more time, we'll clear the room. Item number F, consideration of an action on the appointment of Ho Jin Lim, Heather Gillian, Kelsey Johnson, Kelly Reynolds, Kelsey Lowe, Andy Pham, Tracy Pipes, Joan Moresh Hanson, and Sonny Johnson for terms expiring September 30th, 2025, and the appointment of Ho Jin Lim as chair, Heather Gillian as vice chair for terms expiring September 30th, 2025 to the Parks Advisory Board. I'll make the motion. Got a second by Watley. Where's that Lane? Lane, sorry. Second by Lane. And vote, please. And then passes 6-0. Thank you, council members. Item number G, consideration of an action on the appointment of Matthew Gallagher, Taylor Landine, Farina Daywood, Apurva Parikh, and Setna Patel for terms expiring September 30th, 2026, and the appointment of Matthew Gallagher as chair and Taylor Landine as vice chair for terms expiring September 30th, 2025 to the Sugar Land Planning and Zoning Commission. I'll make the motion. Do I have a second? Got a second by McCutcheon. And vote, please. And it's 6-0. Thank you, council members. Item number H, consideration of an action on the appointment of Kelly Kinake, member, Alyssa Gomez, member, Mal Lusky, member, Ravi Aurora, member, Mumtaz Karashi, member, for terms expiring September 30, 2026, and appointment of Kelly Kinake as chair and Alyssa Gomez as vice chair for terms expiring September 30th, 2025 to the Building Standards Commission. I'll make the motion. Second. Got a second by Watley. And vote, please. And it passes 6-0. Item number I, consideration of an action on the appointment of Chikshara Pavada, member, Josh Morton, member, David James, member, for terms expiring September 30th, 2026, and appointment of Chikshara Pavada as chair, Josh Morton as vice chair for terms expiring September 30th, 2025 to the Zoning Board of Adjustment. And that should be 2026. I'll make the motion. Hand vote at this time, please. Meredith, question. We had 2025 on most of those. They should have been 2026. Do we need to go back through them?
Mayor, all of the terms in Sugar Land for boards and commissions are one-year terms with the exception of ZBA, P&Z.
Okay, so it was 2025. Okay,
and then the
got
chairs
it.
are for a
I thought it
one-year
was
term.
2. Okay, got
The
it.
chairs are for a one-year term,
Okay,
yes, sir.
so we're good. Okay. Item number 4, contracts and agreements. 4A, consideration of an action on authorization of a license agreement with Fort Bend Mountain Bike Association for the use, enhancement, and development of the city's single track mountain bike trails. William Hasdick, our Assistant Director of Parks and Rec. William.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. Before I begin, I did want to introduce some Fort Bend Mountain Bike Association members. Dave Burdett is the president. Diana Vargas Lee is the vice president. And we also have several other members of FEMBA here with us as well. Thank you all for
Why don't you have them all stand? There we go.
So what are trails in our parks? Trails are throughout the parks, neighborhoods, schools, along drainage channels for walkers, joggers, cyclists, stroller, rollerbladers, and more. Trail surfaces can include concrete, asphalt, decomposed granite gravel, as well as natural earth. These trails serve a wide variety of users for exercise, recreation, and nature observance in our parks and our city. So what type of trails do we have in our parks? We have pedestrian bike trails that are typically paved with concrete, asphalt, or decomposed granite gravel, typically open to all users. And then we have bike and natural trails. They're typically found in more limited locations. These single-track dirt trails are open to all and are suited further away from homes and typically heavier vegetated areas. In 2018, we undergone our 2018 City of Sugar Land Parks and Recreation Open Space Master Plan with heavy public engagement. And as you can see, bike trails within parks ranked very high for community needs that are most important to households. A little background on the existing agreement. The Parks Board voted to recommend the original agreement that we have now, that's going on 5 years, to City Council on November of 2019. The agreement was subsequently approved by City Council on December 2019 and went into effect shortly after. This agreement that we're on now is set to expire at the end of this year. So FBMBA's mission has been a Texas nonprofit organization dedicated to building and maintaining suitable single-track trails in the city of Sugar Land within the Fort Bend County region. They're organized as an affiliate under the guidance of International Mountain Bike Association. We want to continue to work together with them to build, maintain, and manage soft surface, multi-use natural surface trails within the city's parks and trail systems. So there's really more than I could list here on what they've accomplished with histories and milestones over the last 5 years. But just to note just a few things. After it was approved in December of 2019, they quickly went to work making improvements at the Brazos River Park and Oyster Creek mountain bike trails, making them safe and rideable. Then they moved their efforts to Justin P. Brindley Trail. That was rideable but needed some updates. Then they reconstructed and improved River Park mountain bike trails that were pretty much devastated from Hurricane Harvey, from the floodwaters and the dirt and silt that was pushed up on them. And they added more trails to that area as well. We'll review that in a minute. Then they built, with Parks Board approval, connector trails connecting Brazos River mountain bike trails to Memorial Park mountain bike trails, significantly increasing the value added to Brazos River Memorial Park and connecting the trails when that new road was built that connected the park. All mountain bike trails have been repaired from Hurricane Beryl with the exception of River Park trails, and those are in progress and should be open very soon. So they worked hand in hand with us, with the FEMA contractors, with my park staff to get these trails back open as quickly as possible, and that was done. The current agreement expires, and then the new agreement would begin in December of this year. It's really hard to quantify how much value that they bring to our citizens and to Parks and Recreation. It's just hard to quantify it over the last 5 years. I mean, when I go out to our events, they're hosting races, they're maintaining the trails. They only call me and my staff when there's a huge tree that they just can't get with their saws or their hand saws, and it's very, very short occasion that happens. They're predominantly the ones that are maintaining these 15 plus miles of the trail. For example, the last 12 months, they spent approximately 2,140 hours of their own time maintaining these trails, doing things like Pearl Flood Trail repairs, organizing work parties, February trail flood repairs, the third annual Sugar Land Classic, 3 years in a row, right? 125 hours, that's times 3. NICA race prep, routine trail maintenance and trimming. These trails are not rideable unless they're being maintained. Featured trail building, repairs, and inspections, they do give me quarterly reports for these trails. Pump Track World Qualifier, what we have done without them. Their presence at that World Track Qualifier, their volunteer, their sweat literally went into making that event successful. And then the Shred to Sugar Land race prep. And as you can see some pictures there of their group swiftly into action, doing things to keep these trails open and safe. So we're excited to discuss the opportunity for a second agreement. The second agreement includes updated safety protocols, 5-year term with the option for 5-year, 1-year extensions, proposed future mountain bike trail at Brazos River West End, updated trail maps to reflect what has been done over the last 5 years from where we were 5 years ago. A lot of trails added. The license is non-exclusive, and the city reserves the right to use the licensed premises or allow others to use the premises for any purpose, as long as those purposes do not unreasonably interfere with FBMBA's rights. The agreement has a 5-year term starting on the effective date. The council also reserves the option to extend the license agreement for up to 5 additional 1-year periods by providing FBMBA with written notice at least 30 days before the current term expires. New trails, parks with no existing trails, FBMBA proposes a trail layout and flags the trail, and staff reviews and brings it to Parks Board for input. If the trail is within 35 feet of a resident's fence, the owner will be notified for input. There will be no time limit for determining approval. Significant expansion of a trail or a completely new trail in an existing park with a trail, same requirements as above. Modification and reroutes of an existing trail, FBMBA will lay out, flag the route. Staff will walk the site to review and determine if further input from a surrounding residence is required due to the 35-foot rule. If compliance, staff will approve within 30 days if in alignment with the agreement. So just quickly going over the mountain bike trails that we have and proposed. Justin P. Brindley Mountain Bike Trail, Memorial Trail, 1 mile. Mountain bike trail at Memorial Park, just south of the dog park, connecting to the Granite Loop Trail. Brazos River Mountain Bike Trail, Tower Run, is 2 miles, arguably the most popular trail in Houston, if not Texas. And as Diana says, you just go round and round and round and round on this thing. And it's really one of the most popular trails that we have, and it brings people from all over. So, as I mentioned earlier, the Brazos River Connector Trail connects Memorial Park to Brazos River. Value added 3.2 miles of trail, all done by FBMBA. This wasn't something that I contracted out, got bids on. This is FBMBA's work here. And it connects our two parks seamlessly to each other, gets the cyclist off the sidewalk connector trail and into the woods, and uses a lot of acres that otherwise is not being utilized. The River Park Mountain Bike Trails, as I mentioned earlier, are in the process of restoration. It's almost completed, but adding 5.4 miles to the River Park Trail system that is just awesome to ride. I was out there with Dave. He makes me go out there and ride it, and when he builds new features, and I wish I could keep up with him, but I can't, but it's just awesome to ride this trail, and it's just very nature and peaceful down there at the river's edge. Oyster Creek Park Mountain Bike Trail, as you can see, the orange is the mountain bike trails, adding 3 miles along the green asphalt trail for walkers and hikers. And it really gets the mountain bikers off the paved trail and down into the woods that runs along the Oyster Creek. A lot of value added to Lost Creek and Oyster Creek trails. Then the proposed future mountain bike trail is at West End at Brazos River Park. It's our city-owned 64-acre land that is not being utilized right now. FBMBA wants to value add about 3+ miles of mountain bike trails to this area. There would not be any parking on site. It's very limited by the landlocked around it and the lid property around it. It does have access for maintenance and emergency vehicles. Of course, a lot of work to get these trails in place, and signage, of course, would need to be added, but it would essentially connect to their new territory trails and add like an extension to their new territory trails that they're already riding.
Question, William, on this particular, has this been coordinated with the LID?
Dave could answer that maybe a little bit better, but he has been talking with the LID about the need to go through the LID to get to this property.
Yeah, because there'll be, I'm going to make a condition on that it be approved by the LID board, because they're going to have more than a little concern about anybody being on top of that levee and crossing over that levee to get into, because of the limited access. So any time that there's going to be a levee, they're going to have to seek permission from the Levee Improvement District Board to be able to do that. So
yes,
that's
sir.
going to be a condition we need to put in the agreement.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So that's the West End Trail. I did coordinate with fire, dispatch, police about this.
Okay.
So as you can see, all trail heads get city-issued Parks and Recreation Trail signage similar to a park or a playground or a splash pad. Of course, it's posted at the trailheads, and as you can see, it goes over the do's and do nots of trail riding, the pleasantries, keeping trash picked up, and of course the hours of operation, and then of course how to contact in the event of emergency or just Parks and Recreation in general. The termination, either party may terminate agreement by giving the other party written notice at least 30 days prior to termination date. If any part of the licensed premises is damaged or destroyed by FBMBA's use so that it may not be used for its intended purposes, agreement will immediately terminate on the date of the damage or destruction. The licensee will work with the city's Parks and Recreation Department to coordinate complete trail closures due to weather or long-term repairs. The city's Parks and Recreation Department has final approval over any such trail closures. If any existing trails or future trails enters in a state of being unsafe or unrideable, the licensee will be held responsible for the return of the trails into a satisfactory, usable condition. If the city deems one or more trails unsafe or unfit for riding, that trail will be closed until conditions improve or are repaired to a safe and rideable condition to the city's satisfaction. The new agreement was presented to Parks Board on 10/8/24 and was recommended to City Council unanimously. With that, city staff recommends the approval of a second license agreement between Fort Bend Mountain Bike Association and the City of Sugar Land for the continued use, enhancement, and development of the city's single-track mountain bike trails in Sugar Land. And with that, me and FBMBA are happy to take any questions that y'all might have.
Council members, William?
I'm happy to start on this one because I've fallen off my bike 1,000 times on those trails. The missing part of your presentation, and I don't know if it's even possible to produce, is the financial impact of what they do. It's got to be unbelievable because of the restaurants, the hotels, the retail. It's got to be an unbelievable number. I see the number of events listed. I see the volunteer hours. I know that our city at sometimes during the year actually kind of keeps track of how many visitors come in, mostly, I believe, because of cycling. And so I really feel like, by the way, I love everything you said. Those are the magic numbers for me because every business owes a simple thank you to this organization and the city for even making this possible. I want to finish with that and say, missing link, I've almost been missing before. I loved it. And then I never ride the trails when they're muddy, no matter what you guys think. Thank you.
Don't mind muddy red trails,
Yeah.
yes, sir. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, William, I just have that one change that needs to be written into the agreement, which is in those areas where a levee is present or going to be crossed or going to be walked on, then the levee board has to approve whatever that trail is, that trail access. You guys figure out what the wording is.
Mayor,
And go ahead.
if we could, if I can get an opinion from Meredith, because I don't believe this supersedes the LID's authority over their property at all. And just since council's taken action on it tonight, if you can either provide what wording or whether or not it would need to be in there.
We can certainly add the language into the agreement if you like, but we have no power or authority on LID's property, and so it would be trespassing without the LID board's approval.
So we can add it in, but it wouldn't be relevant really because this agreement's not allowing them to use LID property without LID approving it, so.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I think, that's great because these people are listening to this discussion right now. But I think for other members, I think it's worth pointing out that they need to be cognizant of the fact that there are LIDs, there are rules for accessing LID property. So I'd like to have the language added.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes,
May I
sir.
address?
Yes, sir.
I'm Dave Burnett. I'm chairman of the board of directors of FBMBA.
Yes, sir.
And I'm in constant contact with LID 7. We have the dialogue and discussions going on. It's specific to rebuilding and use of the LID 7 property. He's asked us to hold until they finish the erosion prevention project.
Yes, sir.
But he has promised us discussion about how we rebuild that area for bike use and trails. They're all about outdoor recreation. So yes, sir, we will be addressing this. The way the trail would go, we wouldn't be crossing the levee, but out of respect to the owner's property, we have opened the dialogue, and we will have continued discussions with Lid 7.
Oh, great. I appreciate that. Go ahead and add it, William. It'll be fine. Yeah, add the language. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Do I have a motion? Motion to approve. I got a motion by Ferguson, and I heard a second by McCutcheon. And vote, please. And it passes 6-0. Go ahead and escort everybody out, please. And it passes 6-0. Thank you, council members. Item number 5, City Council City Manager reports. 5A, City Council Member reports. Suzanne, let's start with you.
I knew you were going to do that. Thank you. We've all been busy this last couple of weeks, but I'm going to start with Battle of the Barrels. American Legion Post 942, Councilmember McCutcheon, Ferguson, and the mayor was there. But I don't know how I ended up eating all that food without you guys. Thank you, Post 942, for the fajitas, the chicken, and the ribs. I don't know who the winner was. It might have been me. Thank you for that. And the other thing I'm going to talk about is the Field of Flags. That was on Monday the 11th, and a lot of the council was there, and I appreciate all of you guys being there. That was the closing ceremony for the Exchange Club Field of Flags, Field of Honor. That was one of the most incredible things to see, 2,000 flags out by the U of H. Thank you, Jay Neal, for giving us that field. And thank you for Exchange Club for bringing us such an incredible program that makes us aware of what it is to be an American. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Jennifer. William.
I have had a very full, it feels like it's been a month since we did a report. The one I want to highlight is Brookdale First Colony Senior Living Community. Really makes an effort every year at the same time during Veterans Day to recognize all of their residents, and they did it again this year. Fabulous, and I'm gonna mess it up, but I wanna say the oldest living veteran that they recognized served as late or early, however you wanna view it, was either 1948 or 1952. They go way back.
Korean War. Yes,
That's
sir.
it.
Korean War.
Very grateful for Brookdale and all the recognition.
Stuart.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, it's been way longer than a month, and I actually attended literally a million things. Literally a million things. But there's one thing I wanted to point out, and I hope Shay is listening. At the last Summer Music Series event at Oyster Park, we had a representative of the Governor's Music Office come and present the city of Sugar Land with the recognition as a music-friendly city, and that is a pretty cool thing because what it does is it plugs us into music networks and opportunities for events in our city and to bring in some dollars.
Thanks, Stuart. Carol.
I'd like to thank Keep Sugar Land Beautiful and community members for planting 194 trees in Cullinan Park. That was really exciting. And I attended the Sewa International Gala, and that's a humanitarian organization that helps people who are in need. And then I attended the Jingle Tree unveiling and the Jingle Tree workshop.
Thank you, Carol. I'm going to yield my time. They've already been covered. Item number 5B, the city manager report. Mike.
Thanks, Mayor. Just want to remind everyone that next Thursday, Friday, city offices will be closed, 28th and the 29th. Thank all of our employees that will be working day and night so that we can enjoy that time with our families. Had a large employee team go out this weekend for the Walk to Defeat ALS to support Assistant City Manager Scott Butler and his family. And that was a great representation of our city. And then right now we have a team at the Silicon Valley Summit where it was just announced that Sugar Land was selected as the flagship plug-and-play innovation accelerator location for the Houston region, and my phone has been going off ever since, Mayor, so.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Mike. I'd like to wish everybody a great, safe Thanksgiving holiday, which is next week. This time, we're going to move to item number 6, closed executive session. 6A, closed executive session is authorized by 551 Texas Government Code in accordance with 551074 personnel matters. And we're going to adjourn in the council dining room. Thank you all.